As I previously stated, the research world is all about the future. So, what are the 5 signs you need to see as a researcher that will let you know that, hey, there's political corruption here? And I say signs because we're trying to predict the future here. So, what are the 5 signs that a politician is corrupt? Now, what I'm going to share today is what I call my political corruption target board. On it, I place the names of politicians who fit into 5 categories that I've learned over the last 15 years are the best indicators of corruption. So this is how I avoid wasting time on wild goose chases, how I avoid getting frustrated. It took me a long time to develop this list, so what I'm sharing today is gold. Okay, so what are the 5 signs of political corruption? Okay, sign number 1 is what I call, the older the berry, the sweeter the juice is what they say. Well, the older the political career, the older it gets, the more bitter the juice. So number 1 on my list when I'm looking to see if a politician is corrupt is I'm looking for incumbency. Have they been in office? Have they had a long political career? The longer the political career, the more bitter the juice. I'm going to say it again. The longer the political career, the more bitter the juice. So number 1 on my target board is going to be a politician who's been in office, who's held political office, whether it's the same one for many years or several different offices. As long as they've had a really long political career, that's someone that's going to start off on my target board. Okay, so those names are there: incumbents, long-time incumbents, career politicians, people who've been in the political game for a long time. That's sign number 1. Okay, sign number 2, and I'm going to go through these fast because they're simple, but it took a long time to develop these. So sign number 2. Some politicians, not all, and a very few, by the way, some politicians never, ever, ever have to campaign for office. There are politicians out there who they have political campaigns, but they don't actually have to campaign. Like, they don't have to run ads. They don't have to send out mailers. They don't have to. That they can, every time there's an election, as long as their name is on the ballot, they're going to win. Okay, so if you get a politician who never has to campaign in order to be elected, where it's guaranteed they're going to be elected no matter what they do, that's sign number 2 of political corruption. Okay, sign number 3 of that a politician is corrupt. Their staff always seem to find really good jobs that are related to their boss's legislative focus. All right. So if you get a politician who has staff members who constantly leave their office and get these really good jobs in sectors that directly relate to what that member of Congress or what that politician, what their legislative focus is, that's a huge red flag. Okay. Huge red flag. It's also called revolving door. Because what happens is they will leave. First of all, some people will start off in the private sector, get a job as a staffer for some of these members of Congress or some other politicians, a governor, and then they'll go back into the private sector, and then they'll bounce back into politics again. So revolving door, that's sign number 3. Sign number 4, every politician that I know of has to put in every year or usually every year, financial disclosure form. Okay, if you see on a politician's financial disclosure form that they don't have a bank account, I'm going to say it again, they don't have a bank account, that's a huge sign of corruption, because I'm telling you now, they all have bank accounts because they all get direct deposit. If they're not putting a bank account on their financial disclosure, they're hiding stuff. And what's funny is, most jurisdictions, most entities that are responsible for overseeing financial disclosures, they don't care if the politician leaves out a bank account. Okay, so If you go on the financial disclosures and you don't see a bank account, big, huge red flag. Number 5, sign number 5, a politician is corrupt. If they have multiple PACs or campaign committees. For example, if a member of Congress has a leadership PAC, that's a big red flag sign. Okay? If they've got a PAC that is a state PAC, okay? Let's say it's a federal office holder and they have a state PAC, big red flag. If they have 527s, if they're connected to a super PAC, that's when an individual politician starts to do stuff like super PACs and state PACs and 527s and leadership PACs. When you see that, big, huge sign, big, huge red flag that there's corruption. So once again, the 5 signs are: first, really long political career, whether it's in the same jurisdiction or multiple offices, but a long political career is the first sign. Sign number 2, if the politician never has to campaign, but they win no matter what, huge, huge red flag. Sign number 3, their staff are revolving door staff. They come in and out, and they always land in the private sector and industries that are directly related to that politician's legislative focus. Number 4, in their financial disclosure issues, the big one I pointed out was no bank account, but there are others, but the bottom line is financial disclosure issues. Number 5, multiple campaign accounts, whether it's state level, 527s, federal, super PACs, multiple avenues for money to come in. That's sign number 5. Now, I'm also pointing all this out because there's another important reason for having something like this, okay, like a target board that's backed up by tried and true methods that have worked over a long time. Mine have worked for 15 years. The reason why you have to have something like this when you're researching is because you can go hours and hours and hours and weeks and get nowhere sometimes. And that can lead to some frustration, and that can cause you to give up, okay? When you have something like this, you never give up because you know, in the past, you know, and when you see these things, there's something there. You just have to find it. So no matter how much time goes by and how much frustration there is, you just slowly continue to chip away because you know that, hey, there's something here. There's something here because when you take into account all of these factors, the 5 I pointed out, I'm telling you, if a politician has all 5, you're going to find corruption there. You're going to find it, and there's multiple reasons why, but I'm just telling you, you're going to find it. So you need something like this no matter what. You can use mine as a starting point, and as you do your own research, you can find other things that work for you. But you have to have this because it's going to help you stick and stay on the road and help you continue to dig when you're in the back of your mind, you're doubting, right? It's going to eliminate the doubt. And it's going to make it so that when everyone else is giving up, you don't give up. And that's the key. And that's how you're going to win in the end on this, okay?